Yes. This is documentation from a service manual for a procedure we're going to attempt to fix an oil leak on our engine. This is just some torque specs and other things I found about the distributor on our engine from two different service manuals. So we're going to attempt to remove the distributor cap, distributor housing, distributor gear housing, and replace an O-ring that is leaking on our transmission and on the floor.
Is this like a cookbook for a car?
Yes, this is a cookbook for a car where every single thing is detailedly described, what to watch out for and stuff like that. We're going to ignore some of this in hopes that it will be okay, but we can fall back on the whole procedure if we have to. So let's gather up some tools and see what we can do. Bag, some wrenches, torque wrench if we can fit it in there, and some spanners. I think they said this one and this one, I'm not sure. I think I have a gear spanner somewhere in here. Some lights.
What about spare parts?
I think they're by the car. We'll see. I'm sure we're going to come back here a couple of times. Hi, car.
Where's the problem?
Back here, between this part and the head of the engine, there's an O-ring here that leaks, and then you get this.
How is this called?
This is the distributor cap. This connects the spark plugs to the distributor. We'll remove the distributor cap. Then we're going to remove this part, the upper part, the distributor housing, I guess. And then we need to remove this part from the engine. And then we can replace the gasket here and put everything back together. We forgot some tools, of course. A flathead screwdriver, a cross screwdriver, marker to take notes on the position of the timing advance, and our favorite brake clean. First, we're going to mark the timing position, the distributor head, so we don't move it too much. Like that.
So now we're following a recipe how to change the seal. What is this?
A crusty old bolt. Before we proceed, let's just do something. I'll explain it a bit so it's a little bit less nasty when we get down there.
Okay, so what does this brake clean do?
I have no idea. It magically turns oil into dust. Oh, we have two bolts on this one. I think no. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not a minus today.
Yeah, today is 2 degrees. Science. So let's see what we find inside.
Seems clean.
Yeah, it seems clean. So the manual says that this shouldn't have a lot of backlash, but I don't know what is too much backlash. And I need some lights. Somebody, I don't know what they try to do with this, but it seems fine-ish. So I think we can proceed by disconnecting this plug, which is the Hall effect sensor plug, I think. That was easy. And we have, I think this is the ground plug back here.
What do they do?
The ground plug grounds the negative side of the distributor to the car.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hall effect sensor tells the computer in what position is the crankshaft and everything else. So it knows when to fire the spark plug and which spark plug is supposed to be firing. Let's remove the distributor housing. I think that is what it's called. This is just the housing, and we need to get to this point down here. One step at a time. And I think what we are going to do now is complete amateurs. Mark that this is the part that goes here. Because it has a helical gear, so when it goes in and out, it rotates.
Okay.
So you actually need to put it in this position. So when it comes back in, it will rotate to the position where it was.
Okay. So will you mark that other position maybe or not?
No,
Okay.
because it's going quite smoothly in and out, and I see a lot of oil even here.
Oh.
So
What's that?
that is the driving gear that is connected to this.
Mm-hmm.
So on the camshaft goes through the engine from the front all the way to the back to here. We'll see it.
Mm-hmm.
It has a gear that meshes with this one, and that drives this whole assembly
Okay.
around. And this is the Hall effect sensor inside here that picks up where the position of the engine
Yeah.
for these wires,
Yeah.
and then the computer, using this electronic ignition coil, sends high voltage to the middle of this, and then the distributor distributes the high voltage through this contact to these contacts here,
Yeah.
and then it goes to the spark plugs and fires the mixture.
So this is for starting the engine.
This is for running the engine.
Oh, so
Yeah.
this is happening the whole time.
This is happening all the time.
Okay.
Now we're going to remove the gear housing, this thing that holds the distributor gear meshed to the gear that is inside. And we should expect some oil to leak when we remove this because it has some oil in it. So we will put a lot of towels underneath there. And then we'll try to crack open 3 bolts that hold everything together.
We don't need a bucket.
We don't need a bucket this time. Try to contain this as much as possible, but we have some cardboard beneath the car. It still has not any oil spots since we changed the oil.
That's good.
That's good. And now we can try to remove these crusty old bolts. Oh, wow, that was tight. I don't like when bolts are that tight. So the bolts are really seized in there, and I hope they don't break, but they're not cooperating that much. Okay, we have them loose.
Now what?
Now we're going to remove them one by one and clean everything and see if we have accomplished anything. Yeah, they're corroded.
So I need to replace them.
Now we'll clean them up. And I think I don't have bolts like this. Maybe I do. We'll see.
You can use some brush on it.
We'll clean them. Another short one is here. On the right side of the engine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is starting to move.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the long one we might want to move, so we'll use this is the long one, which is also bonded to the head. And so the final one here, but everything is coming off as we speak.
And it's off.
And there's a lot of oil coming out, as expected.
Is it black?
Not as black as it used to be, but it's not nice. And there is our prize. That crushed old O-ring. So now we're going to clean everything, remove this O-ring, replace it with a brand new one. And I think this one is also in quite a bad shape. And I think this is the replacement one. I don't have a part number for this
You
one.
think?
We'll see what happens. In worst case, we'll try to order some and wait a couple of years to get them.
Oh, great.
Yes.
There
so
goes our dream to climb every mountain.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
I bet it doesn't says in the recipe put some magic spray on it.
No, but it says that inside the distributor everything needs to be clean. Not in this part, but
Okay.
still. We're here, so we'll put a little bit of effort. So I always wanted to get some of these. So now
Oh,
we have
new
them.
tools.
Yes, new tools.
I've never seen those.
So let's just confirm that this is the right size before we destroy everything. Yes, it's the right size. And now we need to try to get the old one out.
Wait, this tool is just to do that.
Yes, this is all.
Really?
Yes, this is a tool for removing O-rings, but it's not going that well. Yeah, it broke.
What broke? O-ring?
Yes, it's fragile. It's probably the original one, so it means it's over 30 years old, and it's all squashed up and it lost its elasticity. I cannot get it out. There we go. So this is the old one.
Broken now.
So it's quite fragile.
And stiff.
Yeah, it's stiff and like
Yeah, okay.
if I bend it anymore it will break. And this is the new one, which is nice and malleable. So I see some rubbing inside. Do you see the gear inside?
Yes. How often do you need to change those O-rings?
And they start leaking. So this one probably started leaking, like, judging by how this is everything baked on, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But since people are lazy, They do not do stuff like this unless they really have to. And since you don't really have to do this, people don't do it. But I mean, this is not a serious problem on the engine. You're just losing a little bit of oil and everything gets greasy. You can fail your inspection if it's really bad, but it will not destroy the car or anything, so people just ignore it. But since we want to work on this car, we're going to fix all the small problems. So we remembered we have these, which will come in nicely, so we can really clean everything. Yes, this is much easier.
You have a plastic one?
Yeah, because this is aluminium.
Yeah, okay, so the softest one.
So the softest one, so we don't scuff everything up. And this thing we're not going to use brake clean, so it doesn't get into the bearing surfaces on the inside. But we're just going to clean it like this, and I'll try to clean it with a rag from the outside.
Let's see if that fits.
So it looks roughly the right size.
Okay, but the thickness?
Roughly the same. And I will try to get the old one out. Somehow. And it broke. We want to clean all the surfaces, all the mating surfaces of the metal and rubber, so it seals nicely.
Do we need to lubricate that?
Before installing the O-ring and putting everything back together, we're going to put some oil on it, yes. So the general rule, I think, is that if an O-ring seals something like oil, you can use the same oil to install it easier. And we even have a new O-ring for this part.
So we need to change that.
Yeah, this one is also destroyed. Somebody mangled it. Quite bad. Yeah, somebody pinched it.
Okay.
This one is just to keep the dirt out.
Okay, so...
But we're going to change it because we ordered one.
Please describe this method.
It's a great method if your chuck doesn't seize up like this one. If your chuck can hold the bolt, you can pull the bolt inside and spin it around while you clean it, because we don't have a wire wheel in the shop, so this is the second best option.
So everything is clean now?
Yes, the thread looks fine.
I mean, all the parts?
Yes, all the parts look fine. We're just going to rinse them once more, and then we're going to try to install the new O-rings.
Where's the third one?
The third one is... I don't know where. We'll find it. We'll find it. Now let's remove this foreign papers. So we clean this. We have our bolt somewhere in my pocket. They're also clean. This is the new seal. Before putting it on, we'll just take a little bit of engine oil. This is, and we'll just put it in the seal like this. And put it here like that. And I will try to install that on the car without the seal falling off. So we'll just take one of the bolts, put it in, the longest one, because I think that we cannot put it back when the housing is on. I'll just try to fish it in. And we'll start the bolt by hand. And of course I forgot to put the negative ground strap on the bolt. And now it's sitting on one bolt. I will just put two other bolts also by hand, so we don't cross thread the bolts. And the last one goes somewhere down there. And now we're going to remove the long bolt because we forgot to put this thing in. I mean, this is more or less reverse of its assembly, but you forget stuff, so sometimes you get some extra parts. So this ground strap, forgot to put it underneath the bolt.
Oh, okay.
Just like that.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can finger tight everything. And then we'll consult the manual on how hard we need to tighten that and see if our torque wrench can get in there. So the manual says distributor gear case 8 to 12 Newton meters. So this is our brand new torque wrench, because the other one that we have is a big one. But they said 8 to 12, so we'll put it on 10.
So what does this special tool do?
It helps you tighten bolts to a specific torque.
How?
It clicks when you reach the set torque on the wrench.
Oh, you said
In
it's there.
Newton meters, yes.
Oh, okay.
You have something else. Oh, this is the kilogram meters, and this is the Newton meters.
Oh, okay.
So we'll put it to 5 plus 5, that's 10 Newton meters. And then we're going to try to get this thing in here. So when you set it, you put it on the bolt and just, that's it. It makes a gentle click. It's much louder when it's on the higher torque settings. But since this is a small bolt,
So that's it.
That's it. That's all that it needs. I have no idea how to put this one on without destroying it, but we'll try. So we get it over the gear, and then we have a chamfer here that should help, I think. I broke my gloves again, because of course I did. Now let's make a mess of this.
So you're just pouring oil from above.
Yes. So now we're just going to get some of the oil and lubricate the top part, so the O-ring doesn't slide on bare metal.
Mm-hmm.
So now
You see all the markings?
we put a mark here and here, so they line up, but when we took it out it was somewhere like here. So we'll just try to put it in and see where it lands us. Somewhere like this.
Okay.
Oh, the new O-ring is quite... Oh, we got it on the first try. Look at that.
Nice.
Those two line up, and the timing advance mark lines up. It has some
Not bad.
backlash. I don't know if that is normal or not, but
But it was like that before.
it was like that before. So we have new seals there. We'll put this, so this mark lines with this mark, and this mark here lines with mark that we did here. And now we'll put our main bolt here.
Okay.
So again, putting the bolt back in by hand. I'm going to align the marks that we made, because I don't have a scale. Sometimes these distributors have a scale, so it helps you put them back in. I have no idea what the tightening torque for this one, but let's see.
How it's called?
I have no idea. So I don't know how tight this needs to be, so we're just going to make it snug and call it a day. So it doesn't move. Just like that. So there's some crap in here because the high voltage destroys the contacts.
Really?
Yeah, and they're not that good looking, so I think we'll order a new one of these. This part with this contact, and a new cap for this. Now I need to find the gasket for this part here. Give me a minute. Found it.
Okay. The last seal.
Yes, this is the last seal. We'll try to put it so we don't pinch it anywhere.
Neighbors.
We put this back here, 2 bolts, and we can try to turn on the engine after we clean our parts. After we clean our tools. And the other one without looking, of course.
It would be very funny if this drumming was following you doing stuff.
Come background music to life. Do we have a torque specs on this? I don't think we have, but let's amuse ourselves. It's just like make it snug. So we're going to make it snug.
Make it start.
Put this plug back together and we're done.
Did we unplug anything else?
I don't think so. We didn't disconnect the battery as the manual suggested, but put this thing back together and that's it.
Degreasing.
Of course. This really is the cleanest part of the engine now. Let's clean our tools, wait for this to dry, and try to make it run.
Yay.
No luck. It was on the charger for a couple of days now. So now let's see if it's gonna work. Well, it seems it works. So now let's see if it's leaking after a few days. And let's call that job done. So now it's dry. Everything is dry.
Over here.
Behind here where we replaced the O-ring. So I hope it stays that way.
So, thank you for watching. Bye.